Okay, hello friends, and this video is for chemical kinetics. That is part 2. Part 1 already you have seen. I hope you have understood well. And as for if I discuss what you have learned in part 1, in part 1 you have learned the definition of chemical kinetics, the definition of chemical kinetics you have learned. Okay, this was done. Okay, then examples of various examples of fast, slow and moderate chemical reactions, and also highly instantaneous or spontaneous chemical reaction like the explosion. Okay, so these are the examples. If you remember, if you see in the first video, you will find these examples you have learned. Okay, what is chemical kinetics that you have learned. Then you must have learned about that reasons of different rates of chemical reaction or different speeds of chemical reaction. This one you have already sure have learned. Okay, because of the different types of energy or different amounts of energy released and absorbed to make and break bonds in a chemical reaction, there are different speeds or rates of chemical reaction. If you remember, this was discussed in detail. And there was also a discussion that why ionic reactions are so fast, because there is ionic reactions are so fast because the reactants break down into ion form. Suppose for example Na2SO4 reacts with HCl, then NaCl plus H2SO4 will form, where what happens in the aqueous solution, Na plus and SO4 minus 2 is there, H plus and Cl minus is there, and it's because they are already present in ionic form. So there is not much energy required to break the bond, or not much energy evolved while making the bond. So there is no much temperature change also in case of ionic reactions, and that's the reason why they are so spontaneous or so fast. Very little energy changes do occur during the ionic reaction. So I hope you have understood. You have understood the the formula of chemical the formula for rates of reaction. This was learned by you. If you remember, the rate of the reaction is equals to that is the rates of the reaction is equals to change in the concentration of the reactant divided by del T. So that was the overall, and the rate can also be written as if you remember the graph d dt of x, where x is the concentration. Okay, x is the concentration. So in this way also it can be written. So in case of products, we write it as rate is equals to positive del P, that is change in the product, by del T. That I hope you remember. Okay, so this was explained in detail, taking the example of taking the example of PCl5 breaking down into PCl3 plus Cl2. If you have seen the previous video, I hope that you remember that how I had explained all these things. And I hope you also remember that in case of reactant, why the negative sign is given. Okay, so all these things I hope you remember. I hope you remember the unit is mole inverse liter, mole per liter per second. Mole per liter per second is the unit. Okay, in case of all the reactions, but the unit can be also be replaced as ATM per minute or ATM per second. Okay, as when we measure pressure of the reaction. Okay, so for gaseous reactions, when the pressure is decreasing or increasing of the reactants of the products when they are forming or disappearing. Okay, rate of the reaction can be stated as rate of disappearance of the what we can say reactants, and also rate of appearance of product. So I hope that all these things you remember. I'll just focus. I'll just focus. Yeah. And I hope that if you look at if you little bit look at this and you remember all these things, this was discussed in the previous video. Not only this, in the previous video also it was discussed that units of rate of reaction apart from, okay, how can you determine the rate of reaction, that is the average rate and the instantaneous rate. So taking consideration of little bit class 11 physics, I had explained this, that is the slope of the curve and all. Okay, I hope that you remember that whenever you plot the concentration of the reactant with time, okay, the concentration decreases with time. At any point you can find out the instantaneous rate by drawing the tangent at that point, okay, and finding out the slope, okay, which is actually the concept of d dt of x, okay, where x is the concentration. So I hope that you remember that a particular d dt of x actually means the slope. d dt of x actually means the slope at that particular instant. What is the rate you can take out? So all these things were discussed in detail. And in case of average rate, what you need to do is, suppose this from whichever time to whichever time they have asked, you have to point it out, okay, and then you have to join it to the y-axis or the concentration axis, and they have to find out the difference. And then this difference, suppose this difference is del x divided by del t, you have to do this difference is del t. So in this way you can find out the average rate. This was discussed with a better diagram and clearly in the last video. I am just recapitulating the things. So I hope that you remember all these things. I really hope that you remember all these things. Then I also told you that for the experimentally measuring the rate of reaction, for experimentally measuring the rate of reaction, for experimentally measuring the rate of reaction, you can measure the reaction by taking out reaction mixture, very small volume, 2 centimeter cube or 5 centimeter cube, then titrating it and find out that how much moles of the particular reactant and the product has appeared or disappeared, a particular mole of the molarity of the particular reactant has disappeared and the product has appeared, and you can measure and you can plot the graph. For different time you can do this, and for different time you can plot the graph, okay, in case of and you can draw the graph in that way. And there are various reactions where observable quantities like volume, I mentioned that there are various reactions where, I will go into the next page. Okay, sorry for the interruption. So there are various reactions or observable quantities like volume, pressure, optical rotation, which you will learn in higher classes, or if you take up chemistry in higher studies. Optical rotation you will learn in class 11 only in the stereo chemistry chapter. Optical rotation, these all things are, if these things are measurable for a particular ongoing chemical reaction, then we do measurement of this thing, and we don't bother ourselves by taking out the reaction mixture and freezing it, okay. Small quantity of reaction mixture you take out from the vessel and freeze it for little bit of time, and all those things we don't do, right? We do it when these measurable quantities are not there. But when these measurable quantities are there, we measure for these particular measurable quantities only. We don't bother ourselves to take out these and measure the rate of the reaction. We can also measure the rate of the reaction by measuring these observable quantities. If they are present in the reaction, we prefer that only. But however, you can understand here that generally we do that. We take out the from a beaker we take out 5 centimeter cube or 2 centimeter cube small volume of the reaction mixture and do titration of it, and try to know that how much moles of the particular substance is there. If you plot it against the concentration of reactant, you will get this type of graph against time. If you plot the concentration of product, you will get this type of graph against the time. Okay, so as because at every particular instant, and you please notice this graph properly. Okay, concentration is decreasing for the reactants and concentration is increasing for the products. It should be from 0. Okay, at first the concentration was 0, and in any of the case you have to draw tangent to find out at that instant, or you know how to find out the average. All these things were discussed. I am just discussing again because this chapter is little bit tricky. Okay, so I hope I'll take a little bit time to discuss, recapitulate things all the time. So okay, these all are the things that I had already discussed in detail, okay, and made you understand in detail. Now moving on to the next part. Okay, moving on to the next part of the thing. Whenever we write the rate of the reaction, for example, suppose this reaction, suppose for example we are given this reaction 5Br minus, okay, plus BrO3 minus plus 6H plus gives 3Br2 plus 3H2O. Okay, then rate of the reaction can be written as negative of 1/5 change in the concentration of Br by del T, that is equals to minus BrO3 change in the concentration of BrO3 by del T, that is equals to 1/6 change in the concentration of H plus by del T, that is equals to 1/3 change in the concentration, sorry, there will be minus here because it is the product, reactant. So 1/3 change in the concentration of Br2 by del T, and that must be also equals to 1/3 1/3 change in the concentration of H2O by del T. But here I have done a mistake. Can anyone tell me what mistake I have done? I will tell you that what mistake I have done. I have written for this one, fine. For this one, fine. It is correct. For this one, okay, it is correct. For this one also it is correct. These ones are correct only. No. We cannot write down the change in the concentration of water. We cannot. Why? Because the change in the concentration of water in case of aqueous, this is a reaction going on in aqueous medium. This is a reaction, remember, this is a reaction going on in an aqueous medium. So whenever a reaction is going on in an aqueous medium, I basically cannot write down the change in the concentration of water. No. Why? Because basically there is very less change in the concentration of water in case of aqueous reaction. There is very less change in the concentration of water for for reactions going on in aqueous state. So for those reaction we need not include the change of the concentration of the water. This thing should be kept in mind. So I hope that you remember this. इसका general equation भी लिख के समझाया था. Okay, so I hope that you all remember all these things. And I had done a sum up also, that the reaction rate or the rate of the reaction, what was the sum up? The rate of the reaction is equal to the change in concentration, fine. The rate of the reaction is equals to change in concentration. The rate of the reaction can be expressed in terms of both reactants and products, change in concentration of reactants or change in concentration of product. But in this case you put a negative sign, right or wrong? Why? You know, I have discussed. Okay, think. The concentration of the reactant, because the reason is the concentration of the reactant decreases and it is a negative value. So to make it positive, we put a minus sign, and concentration of product increases. I hope that you remember all these things. Okay. And to make different expressions for the rate of equivalent, okay, we divide it with the coefficient, like we divided with the coefficient to for different things to be equal in their rate. Otherwise it will be like 5 जितने टाइम में 5 मोलर ऑफ जितना टाइम आप डेल्टा टी सेम रख रहे हो, तो सेम टाइम में 5 मोलर बी आर डिसअपियर हो रहा है, तो 3 मोलर बी आर 2 अपियर हो रहा है. सो दिस रेट्स आर नॉट एक्चुअली इक्वल. सो टू मेक देम इक्वल we divide it with the coefficient. I hope that you remember this, and you to remember instantaneous and average. I hope you. So today's class we will begin with numericals, 2-3 numericals based on this, based on our above study. So I will focus my camera on a book and I will try to explain that. Okay, so like I said that I will focus on a sum and I will explain that sum. So this is a sum from a very old book anyway, but this is helpful for you. Express the rate of the following reaction in terms of different reactants and products. The reaction given is 4NH3 in gaseous state plus 5O2 in gaseous states produces 4NO in gaseous states and 6H2 in gaseous state. Remember, this is not a reaction going on in aqueous state. So we do have to consider the change in the concentration of H2O. If it would be going on in an aqueous state, the previous one I said that you will not consider the change in the concentration of H2O because it is going on in the aqueous state, because you see it is in ionic form. Okay, but here it is not going on in ionic form, so you have to consider the change in H2O. However, how can we express it? The expression is simple. Del NH3 by dt, that is change in concentration of NH3 by dt, सामने में minus sign because it is reactant, and 1 by 4 because the coefficient is 4. So del O2 by dt, सामने में there is 1 minus 1 by 5 because the this thing is 5. Okay, then product के केस में there is positive sign, so it is plus 1 by 4 dNO by dt, that is change in the concentration of NO per unit time. I'm sorry, and 1 by 6 into dH2O by dt. So this is the answer of the first question. Express the rate of the following reaction. So you express the rate of the following reaction. What is the associated question? If the rate of formation of NO is this much, 3.6 into 10 to the power minus 3 mole per liter per second, calculate the rate of disappearance of NH3 and rate of formation of H2O. So now rate of disappearance of NH3 I have to calculate, but you see rate of disappearance of NH3 is equals to the rate of appearance of NO, because both of them have 1 by 4 at the as the coefficient or in front. Okay, so both are equal. So whatever is the rate of disappearance of appearance of NO, that is the rate of disappearance of NH3. So they have written directly rate of disappearance of NH3 is equals to rate of formation of NO, which is the same value. Why? Because they had same coefficients. But when they asked the rate of formation of H2O, it will be done in a little bit different way. Rate of formation of H2 is 6 by 4 of rate of formation of NO. Why? Because you see, if you just consider this much part, from there to here, okay, so rate of formation of H2O is equals to 6 will go up. So 6 by 4 dNO by dt. So that's why 6 by 4 dNO by dt. So what will be the answer? Rate of formation of NO is 3 by 2. 6 by 4 is 3 by 2. Cancel into 3.6 and 10 to the power 3. So the answer is 5 by 4 mole per liter per second. So I hope that you have understood. And this is alternative way of doing the sum. You can see it. I hope that you have understood. So let's go to the next question. If you have not have understood, you can always take the screenshot and later on see it or ask me. Okay, the following reaction was studied in a closed vessel. 2N2O5 in gaseous state gives 4NO2 plus O2 in gaseous states. It was found that concentration of NO2 increases by this much in 5 seconds. Calculate. Okay, first understand the question. I have to go to the next page. The following reaction was studied in a closed vessel. This much. This is the reaction. It was found concentration of NO2 increases by this much mole per liter in 5 seconds. So in 5 seconds, if this much per liter, so per second you have to divide by 5. I guess you understand that. So let's see what they have asked to calculate. Calculate the rate of the reaction, the rate of change of concentration of N2O5. So what was the reaction given? N2O5 gives NO2 plus O2, and rate of NO2, the concentration of NO2 increases by this much in 5 seconds. So rate of reaction is equals to 1 by 4 of dNO2 by dt. So dNO2 by dt, 2 into 10 to the power minus 2 mole per liter divided by 5 seconds. So that is given per second. So now rate of reaction 1 by 4 into this. Why 1 by 4? Because NO2 ke samne there was what? 4. So that's why they have done 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 into this they have done, and so you got 10 to the power minus 3 mole per liter per second. Now rate of change of concentration of N2O5. So let's see, N2O5 was 2. Okay, fine. So dNO2 minus of N2O5 by dt minus of half into rate of formation of NO2. Why minus of half of rate of formation of NO2? Because you see, this is if I explain, minus 1 by 2, look here, minus 1 by 2 del N2O5 by del T or dt is equals to 1 by 4 into d of NO2 by dt. So this 2 will come up. So del NO2 or dN2O5 by dt is equals to 2 by 4 into dNO2 by dt. So which will give you 1 by 2 dNO2 by dt. So that is the reason they have done half here. So I hope that you have understood this part. So that is the reason why they have done half, and they have found out the answer. So I hope you have understood this. Please take the screenshot of this portion, and with the answers you can take. Okay, take the screenshot of this portion, and you can try to do these sums. Okay. Okay, thank you. So now let's move to our next topic, and let us try to understand our next topic. So now we'll learn the factors on which the rate of reaction depends. The factors on which the rate of reaction depends. Number 1, the nature of the reactants. The nature of the reactants. Number 2, concentration of the reactants. The nature of the reactants, the concentration of the reactants. Number 3, temperature. Number 4, catalyst. Number 5, surface area of the reactants. Number 6, presence of light. So these are the 6 factors which basically affects, or which basically affects or alters the rate of the reaction. Okay, so these are the physical factors. Now let us try to understand one by one the nature of the reactants. First, you see, in case of nature of the reactants, if you see a reaction, suppose for example you see a reaction 2NO plus O2 giving out 2NO2, and there is another reaction 2CO plus O2 giving out 2CO2. Now these are looking at their same types of reaction, but now what happens is that this is a very fast reaction and this is a slow reaction. Now there is no other factor than the nature of the reactants to make it fast and slow. Why? Because the breaking of the bond and making of the new bond requires different kinds of energy or different amounts of energy, and release of the different amounts of energy when new bonds are made. So that is why the reaction becomes fast and slow. So it definitely depends only on the nature of the reactants, that how much amount of energy is required to break up the bonds of the reactants and how much amount of energy is released when the new product is being made. So that difference, or the difference in the amount of energy released and absorbed in different types of reactants and products in different reactions varies the rate of the reaction, that is fast or slow, or the speed of the reaction. So they basically depend on the nature of the reactants. Remember this. Now second is concentration of the reactant. You very well know from this graph that if you plot concentration of reactant with time, you get this kind of graph. Now suppose for example at this point you are trying to measure. Don't you think at this point the concentration is very high and the time is a very low numerical value? It is a very high numerical value and it is a very low numerical value. And in this point, if you consider the time is a very high numerical value and concentration is a very low numerical value. So if the numerator is very big like 102 and the denominator is very small like 5, and if the numerator, concentration by time, numerator is small like 18 and time is very big like 50, so which value is higher? I hope that you understand this value is higher. So it depends on the concentration. So higher the concentration of the reactant, higher is the reactant rate. And the rate of the reaction does not remain average or constant. Why you know? Because the concentration continuously of the reactants decreases. If the concentration continuously decreases at each of the point, the rate of the reaction will not remain same. However, it depends on the concentration of the reactant. Higher is the concentration of reactant, higher is the rate of the reaction. So I hope that you understand the second point, that concentration, how concentration of reactant affects the rate of the reaction. Then there is temperature. Remember, in generally it is seen that a rise in 10 Kelvin temperature or 10 degrees Celsius rise, okay, rise in 10 Kelvin temperature or 10 degrees Celsius rise in temperature increases the rate of reaction and makes it double. Generally it is observed. There are various reactions which does not occur at room temperature, but if you increase the temperature, supply heat to it, the reaction starts occurring. So the temperature also enhances or increases the rate of the reaction. Presence of catalyst also enhances or increases the rate of the reaction. Mechanism of catalyst reaction we will study in the next part of the chapter only. Okay, probably in the next video. But you see, you have to understand next video, next to next video, whatever. So you can basically understand that the catalyst thing, if there is a catalyst present, it enhances the rate of the reaction. It itself does not take part in the reaction, but enhances or increases the rate of the reaction. I hope that you understand that catalyst increases or enhances the rate of the reaction. Sometimes if in reversible reaction catalyst is there, remember it helps the reaction to achieve equilibrium at a much more faster time. Okay, and so I hope that you understand the presence of the catalyst. How catalyst does it, how it does it, how catalyst does it, that we will learn in the next part of the chapter. So anyway, surface area of the reactants, smaller the reactant particles, remember, smaller the reactant particles, you always know greater is the surface area. Smaller is the reactant particles, greater is the surface area. If I suppose give you a block of sugar cube, this has more surface area, or if you grind it and make it powder out of it, this has more surface area. Definitely you understand that this has more surface area, and then what will happen? The reactants will have greater surface area for the molecules to come closer to each other. Suppose two different reactants are reacting, there will be greater number of surface area of the molecules to come closer to each other and collide and create and make bonding and create the products. So what happens is, the greater the surface area, greater is the rate of the reaction. I hope that you understand it from this diagram. And sometimes there are some reactions like H2 plus Cl2 giving out 2HCl. This type of reaction does not occur in dark. Only the presence of light can make this reaction happen or feasible or increases the rates of the reaction. This type of reactions are known as photoreactions. chemical reaction. I hope that you understand that this type of reaction are known as photochemical reaction. Now these are some qualitative study. Okay, now we will try to quantitatively study the rate of the reaction. We will try to quantitatively, means measurably, so that you can measure, quantitatively study the rate of reaction and the effect of concentration and temperature on the rate of reaction. That is quantitative study, how mathematically the concentration and temperature can affect the rate of the reaction. Okay, that we will try to understand, and to understand that we will come across certain terms like rate constant, first of all rate law, rate constant, also law of mass action. Okay, and then order of reaction and molecularity of reaction and mechanism of reaction. So I will basically try to cover up these topics in this video. Okay, I'll basically try to cover up this particular topics in this video. So get yourselves ready. Let's see. Okay, let us first understand the rate law and order of a reaction. The rate law and order of a reaction. Okay, at first I would, before making you understand this, I would again try to draw your attention towards the old graph that you have already understood. Suppose for example this is concentration, okay, and this is the time. Okay, so if I draw like this, then this is about the products, and if I draw like this is the reactants. Now what happens is, I'm sorry for that cough of mine. Anyway, so the products, the concentration of products continuously increases with time, and the concentration of reactants continuously decreases with the time. And I had explained here that the rate of reaction also decreases with the concentration of the as because the concentration of the reactants decreases, the rate of the reaction also decreases. From this graph it is very clear that if we understand it on the basis of the concentration of the reactants, okay, we understand it on the basis of the concentration of the reactants, which we will do throughout the entire chapter. We will try to understand on the basis of the concentration of the reactants only. Okay, in 1867, two scientists, the Wedge and Goldberg, they said that if suppose there is a general reaction going on, suppose for example A or terms of A, B terms of B gives out products, okay, gives out products, then rate of the reaction is directly proportional to concentration of A raised to the power A and concentration of B raised to the power B. Means the rate of the reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of A to the power the stoichiometric coefficient of A, and concentration of B is stoichiometric coefficient of B. Remember, I am not saying that this is the expression of rate. This is just a law which is saying directly proportional to this. Okay, they express this. This is known as law of mass action. This is known as the law of mass action. Understand that this is known as the law of mass action. Obviously, higher the concentration of the reactant, okay, higher is the concentration of the reactant, higher is the rate. So they say that the multiplication of concentration of A and B raised to the power of the coefficients of the what we can say, the coefficients of the both the reactants is directly proportional to the rate. You remember, this just looks like the equilibrium constant. You remember the equilibrium constant ka thing. If A terms of A, B terms of B gives C terms of C, and D C terms of C and D terms of D, your equilibrium constant was C to the power C by D to D to the power D by A to the power A by B to the power B. Do you remember the equilibrium constant in class 11? I hope that you remember this. Although this is also same something like that, that the rate of the reaction depends, or the rate of the reaction is directly proportional is to the concentration of A raised to the power of A into the concentration of B raised to the power of B. This is known as the law of mass action. However, later it was found out that, now what was later found out? Let us see till the next page. That suppose, for example, let me wait. Okay, so later experimentally it was found out that the rate of the reaction may not be always directly proportional to the constant. Suppose this is the reaction, A terms of A reacting with B terms of B, giving out the products. When you balance the reaction, may not be to the power A always, and B ka concentration, it may not be dependent on all the concentration terms A. Means suppose 5 mole of A reacts with 6 moles of B to give the products, may not be so that all the 5 moles of A or all the 6 moles of B is responsible for the rate of the reaction, or is directly proportional to the rate of the reaction. So maybe here 5 and 6 won't be there. Maybe some less number may be there. Okay, how did they find out? They definitely found it out by experimentally seeing all the, or studying maximum of the reactions. Okay. So when they study maximum of the reactions, to study the rate of the reaction, how they do it, I told you, they can take out a little volume of the reaction mixture and do titration of it, where they can know the concentration, or they can measure the pressure, they can measure the volume, they can measure the optical rotation. All these things can be measured, or change of these things, these parameters can be measured. So however, in terms of concentration only, if we understand, it may not be like rate law, dependent on all the concentration powers of A and all the concentration of sorry, not rate law, law of mass action, all the concentration of A and all the, this is law of mass action, like I discussed in the previous page. This is law of law of mass action. Just in law of mass action, whatever is there in the coefficient, you put that as power. But in experimentally it was found that all the rate of the reaction may not be dependent on all the concentration of power of A or all the concentration power of B. So rate of the reaction is actually written as A to the power alpha and B to the power beta, maybe, or gamma, or whatever, anything else. Okay, where alpha is less than A basically in most of the cases, and beta is also less than B in most of the cases. Okay. It has to be, no, if all the concentration terms of A and all the concentration of B terms is not responsible, then something less than it only is responsible. Okay, means it is as if like this, that you are thinking that maybe if I can put it in like this way, that you are thinking that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people are working in a group. Okay, and you are trying to measure the rate of their work, or the what we can say, or how fast they are working. Okay, but actually maybe they are not working. These 2 guys are not working only. These 3 guys are working. These 2 guys are not working only. Or maybe let it put it like this. Suppose 5 guys are working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 guys are working. This guy and this guy, they work very, very slow. They work very, very fast. Okay, so maybe the rate of the reaction would be dependent more on them. Okay, the slow workers. The rate of the output of the work will depend on the slow workers. Maybe they are also little bit helping them. So does it equivalently, depends on all the molecules or all the particles or all the men here? No, it basically depends on some of them. Okay, so that's why it is not always the concentration powers of A and B or all the concentration terms of A and B. It is something less or something different, alpha and beta. So that was found out experimentally, and this is the explanation that I have given. You can think it in this way. So the rate of the reaction depends like this. Okay, this is known as the rate law. That is known as the law of mass action. This is known as the rate law. I hope that you understand the difference between the law of mass action and rate law. In case of law of mass action, we put in the power the entire concentration terms. In case of rate law, no. We put the experimental values on which values actually the concentration of A raised to and concentration of B raised to depends, or the rate of the reaction depends on those concentration terms. So that is the rate law. So I hope that you have understood this. Whatever I just said here can be explained with a simple example that I can give you. Suppose, for example, you remember this example, 5Br minus plus BrO3 minus, okay, plus 6H plus gives plus 6H plus gives 3Br2 plus 3H2O. Now this is going on in aqueous state. Now according to the what we can say law of mass action, you will tell that rate of the reaction is actually Br minus 1 ka power to the power 5, BrO3 ka power to the power 1, okay, and H plus ka concentration ka power to the power 6. But actually the rate of reaction is not proportional to this. It is not. This will just become wrong if you raise it to the power of 5, 1 and 6. It will be very big mistake. It is not dependent. Actually, it was experimentally found that the rate of the reaction, this was wrong. Actually, it was found that the rate of the reaction is proportional to Br minus to the power 1, BrO3 minus to the power 1, and H plus to the power 2. Experiment, it was seen, it is raised to 1 concentration term, 1 concentration term, 2 concentration term. It was not dependent on those. Okay, so I hope that you have understood. Sir, how did they know? Experimentally they found out. Sir, how did they found out experimentally? I told you, how can we find out experimentally the rate of the reaction? Didn't I? And then you can find out the rate of the reaction at every instantaneous time by plotting the concentration time graph. And from there they could anticipate and they could understand. However, you will also understand the more details of it in the following parts of the chapter. But I hope that something is there inside your mind. Some idea from this entire picture or this entire picture that is in front of you is there in your mind about the rate of the reaction. So I really hope that you have understood this part. So I hope that you have understood the difference of rate of the law of mass action and rate law. Now let us little bit talk about the rate law. Rate law. What is it? Rate law is, suppose A concentration of terms of A, B concentration terms of B gives out the products, then rate is proportional to A concentration terms of alpha and B concentration terms of beta, where alpha and beta is not equals to A and B. And so rate of the reaction is equals to K into A concentration of terms of alpha and B concentration terms of beta. So I hope that you understand this. Now, one thing, that if I take concentration of A is equals to concentration of B is equals to 1 mole per liter, suppose if I take, then rate of the reaction is becomes equals to K into 1 to the power alpha, 1 to the power beta. So rate of the reaction becomes equals to K. Now this is known as rate constant. Okay, this is the rate constant here. This is the rate constant. Now I hope that I have already been successful to define rate constant from this equation. Sir, where is the definition? Here is the definition. See, K is equals to rate when the 1 molar of the substances react with each other. So the definition is the rate constant may be defined as the rate of the reaction when the concentration of each of the reactant is 1 mole per liter or taken as unity. This is why rate of the reaction is also called specific reaction rate. So what is the thing? The rate of the rate constant is actually the rate of the reaction which the rate of the reaction when the concentration of A or the concentration of each of the reactants is unity, or you can say when 1 molar of the substance reacts with another molar of the substance, when 1 molar of the reactant reacts with another 1 molar of the another reactant, then whatever is the rate of the reaction, that is known as the rate constant. So definitely rate constant does not depend on the the power, concentration, power terms of the rate law. It definitely does not depend. The rate constant is the measure of the rate of the reaction, and when 1 molar of the substance is taken, and if 1 molar of the substance is taken, it would not depend on the the concentration powers of the rate law. It wouldn't depend. So I hope that you understand this thing. However, I'll come into the more detailed discussion of this particular thing, but I hope that you have understood this. So now you will crave for the units of K. But my friend, now only I cannot tell unit of K. Sir, you can tell unit of K. Do one thing, no. Rate by concentration of A, concentration of B, do. Sir, suppose for example you want to tell, sir, the, we know it from basic simple physics, sir. That rate of the reaction is equals to, you are telling K, A to the power alpha, B to the power beta. So you want to know the unit of K. You have defined K successfully, we understand. You want to know the unit of K. So rate by A to the power alpha and B to the power beta is equals to K. So tell the unit from here. Are my friend, how can I tell until I don't know alpha and beta? Do I know alpha and beta? I understand, I know the unit of rate of reaction. Unit of rate of reaction is mole per liter. Mole, liter inverse, second inverse. Fine. I know that this is mole per liter. I know this is also mole per liter. But from here, if I find out the dimensions or the unit, will that be okay? Because I don't know the alpha and beta. To how much power it will be raised, I don't know. So how can I tell the unit of K right now? So then how will you tell unit of K? Definition of K to you told. How will you tell unit of K? To tell the unit of K, you need to understand. At first, I hope that you have understood what is K, okay? K is the rate of the reaction when 1 molar of all the reactants are reacting with each other. So, the rate constant does not depend on the concentration of the reactants, definitely, because it is 1 molar ka. It does not depend on how much is the power or concentration terms. Okay, it does not depend on the concentration terms of the reactants. However, it depends on the nature of the reactants and the temperature. However, we will understand, we will go into much more detailed understanding, but I hope that you understood the problem of taking out the unit, right? So, yeah, let's try to solve the problem. Now, we will understand one more term known as the order of the reaction. Let us try to understand. Okay, so what is order of reaction? Let us try to understand. Nothing. Order of reaction is very easy. Suppose rate of the reaction is directly proportional, or maybe let us write it like this. Rate of the reaction just okay. So rate of reaction is equals to K into A to the power alpha and B to the power beta, where A and B are concentration of the reactants, or both A and B are the reactants. So alpha and beta are experimental values. Remember this, alpha and beta are experimental values. But then alpha plus beta is equals to order of reaction. Oh my. So this much easy. Yes, it is very, very easy. Alpha and plus beta is known as the order of the reaction. Like for example, in this case, what is it? Okay, in this case, the order of the reaction is 1 plus 1 plus 2. The order is 4. The order of the reaction is 4. Okay. However, you should keep in mind the order of the reaction is an experimental value. Yeah. That should be kept in mind. If suppose anyone says you something like, for example, that maybe that A terms of A plus B terms of B gives products. So the order of the reaction is A plus B. No, that will be wrong. It may not be the A plus B. Okay, it may be something else. Because the order of the reaction does not depend on A and B. It does not depend on law of mass action. It does not depend on law of mass action. It depends on rate law. I hope that you understand. In rate law, it was alpha and beta, the experimental values, like I explained. Okay, so alpha plus beta is known as the order of the reaction. So how can you define the order of the reaction? I am writing a lot of things, so I'm tired. I will just focus it on my book. Okay, you see it from the book. Order of reaction, the sum of the concentration terms on which the rate of a reaction actually depends. Not just from the law of mass action, that whatever is the coefficient or stoichiometric coefficient, these stoichiometric coefficient, it is not that. Actually depends. Okay, the sum of the concentration terms on which the rate of the reaction actually depends, is observed experimentally, is called the order of the reaction. For example, the above case, the order of the reaction is alpha plus beta. Thus, the order of a reaction may also be defined as the sum of the exponents or powers to which the concentration terms in the rate law equation are raised to express the observed rate of the reaction. So I hope that you have understood this. Just go through once. Try to imagine, try to understand. So I hope that you have understood. So depending on the rate law, there can be number one, zero order reaction. Zero order, okay. Zero order reaction. There can be first order reaction. There can be third order reaction. Okay, so all these types of reaction we will study. For there is also a reaction with order 4, here you can see, but this is a very complex reaction. However, simple elementary reactions are basically either first order or second order or third order, not more than that. Okay, so there are also reasons for it. So I hope that you know that. So that is one thing. So yeah, I hope that the order of the reaction is clear with you. Now let us, I will again focus my zero order, for zero order reaction, for first order reaction, for third order reaction. I'll focus my camera on my book because I cannot write so many things, but you will definitely make notes out of it. I know you are good boys and girls, so let me focus in my book. Let's see what it is written. What? Some common examples of reactions of different orders. Wah, wah, wah. Some common examples of reactions of different order. Fine. First is photosynthesis of HCl. Photosynthesis means HCl is synthesized with the help of light. That's why they have this my old book. I'm sorry, they used to be this book is used to be very, very dramatic. None of the book you will find that photosynthesis term. But however, I can justify here why he has used the photosynthesis term, the writer, because it is synthesized with the help of light. That's why. So anyway, okay. Let's focus into some examples of reactions of different orders. First is HCl formation with the help of light. H2 in gaseous state, Cl2 in gaseous state in the presence of light gives 2HCl. Now experimentally it is found that the rate of the reaction is independent of the concentration of H2 and Cl2. Hence the reaction is of zero order. Means it is like this. I will use my copy. It is with H2 plus Cl2 gives 2HCl, right? Now, for example, if you had used the law of mass action, it would be rate is directly rate is equals to or directly proportional to H2 का concentration raised to the power 1, Cl2 the concentration raised to the power 1. But however, in rate law expression, which is experimentally the powers are determined, it was found that rate of the reaction does not depends on the concentration of H2, so to the power 0, and does not depends on the concentration of Cl2 as well, so to the power 0. So rate of the reaction is equals to K into, that is rate constant, into H2 to the power 0 and Cl2 to the power 0. So rate of the reaction is actually equals to K. So it is directly equals to K, that is the rate constant. Okay, so it is directly equals to K, that is the rate constant. I hope that you understand this and have this. That's why it is known as the zero order reaction. That's why it is known as the zero order reaction. Now let us shift into our next understanding. Yeah, so I hope that you have understood this particular concept, that it is a zero order reaction. So so it does not depends on any, suppose how much concentration, suppose 5 molar, 8 molar of this you have taken in the reaction vessel. Okay, suppose 5 molar of this reacting with 5 molar of this to give 10 molar of this. But however, it doesn't depend that how much you have taken. Like for example, in some of the cases you have learnt that the concentration of the reactant is directly proportional to the rate of the reaction, and the concentration becomes lower and lower, and the rate becomes lower and lower for the reactants. Okay, in case of zero order reaction, it is not that. In case of zero order reaction, it does not depend on the concentration of the reactants, 0 and 0. Whatever was inside, 5 or 10 or 19 or 100 to the power 0 will make it 1. So what happens? The rate of the reaction is just equals to rate constant. It is as if 1 molar of the substance H2 reacts with 1 molar of the substance Cl2, like the definition of K. What is the definition of K? The rate of the reaction on where 1 molar of both the substances or the reactants react with each other. That is, okay, at that time what is the rate? That is known as the rate constant, right? So in the same way, it does not depend on the concentration of the reactants. Such kind of reaction is known as zero order reaction. I hope that I have been able to make you understand that what is zero order reaction, in which the rate of the reaction does not depend on the concentration of the reactants, how much concentration of the reactants you have taken. It doesn't depend, that's why it is to the power 0. So that is zero order reaction. So then what is first order reaction? Definitely I'll give you an example of a first order reaction. Let's switch back to our book. Yeah, dissociation of N2O5. N2O5 gives 4NO2 plus O2. Experimentally it was found that rate of reaction is directly proportional to N2O5, not to the power 2. See, it is not like law of mass action, to the power 1. So only on the concentration of N2O5. So what it will be? Rate of reaction will be equals to K into N2O5. Okay, so that is 1. Okay, so that is first order reaction. So it depends on the concentration of the reaction. Rate constant multiplied by the concentration of the reaction. So it is decomposition of N2O5 to give out NO2 and O2, where 2 molar gives 5 molar and all. So it does not depend on 2 concentration terms, but depends on 1 concentration term. I told you always it will be lower. You remember I told you that alpha and beta will always be lower than A and B in maximum of the cases. So you see, you have found this. So this is known as the first order reaction. So in the case of first order reaction, the rate of the reaction depends on the concentration term, that is 1 concentration terms. Experimentally it was found. So this is a first order reaction or 1 order reaction. Okay. Let's go into another example. So combination between NO2 and F2 to form N2O5. 2NO2 gives 8 F2 plus F2 gives 2NO2O5. So experimentally it is found that NO2 to the power 1, F2 to the power 1. So it depends on 1 plus 1, the order of the reaction is 2. So this is a second order reaction. So I hope that you understand. This is a second order reaction. The order of the reaction is 2. Now further it may be mentioned here that the order of the reaction may not always be a whole number. It may not always be a whole number. It may not be. In experimentally what you will find, it may be that only. Suppose for example this, the CH3CHO gives CH4 plus CO. So rate of the reaction is equals to K into CH3CHO plus to the power 1.5. So the order of the reaction is 1.5. So I hope that you have understood these examples. And here are some more examples. I want you to take screenshot of it. I will not explain this right now, but there are some more examples. Please take screenshot. And please take screenshot of this. Then please take screenshot of this. Then also take screenshot of this. Reactions of the fractional order. Okay, so I hope that I have been able to make you understand about the order of the reaction. Order of the reaction, I hope, is clear to you. Okay, so rate law, law of mass action, and order of the reaction is clear to you. Let us focus on some of the numericals based on the order of the reaction so that we can understand it better. Okay, let us see the first numerical. The rate law for reaction is found, okay, the rate law for reaction is found to be, okay, so the rate law of reaction is found to be this. Okay, fine. What would be the reaction change? How would the rate of reaction change when concentration of H plus is doubled, concentration of I minus is half, concentration of each of NO2, I minus and H are tripled? Okay, suppose initially the concentrations are, NO2 का concentration is A, I का concentration is B, and H का concentration is C, mole per liter, mole per liter, mole per liter. Fine. The rate of the reaction is A into B into C square into rate constant. So rate of the equation is K into ABC square. I hope that you understand this because it is given on in the expression. So what is the order of the reaction? Order of the reaction is 2 plus 1, 3 plus 1, 4. 4 is the order of this reaction. Fine. Anyway, the question is, how would the reaction rate of reaction change when the H plus is doubled? So new H plus is 2C. Purana rate is what? Purana rate is KAB square. New is 2C because the concentration of H plus was taken as C. It is doubled. So it will be K into A into B into 2C square. So it will be 2 ka square will be 4. 4 will come. So 4 KAB square. So 4 KABC square. So KABC square 4K. So reaction rate will increase 4 times. So now I hope that you understand the importance of the order, don't you? Because the power was 2, that's why it became 4 times, isn't it? Because the power was 2. So basically, order of the reaction is helping us to understand. So basically, I will write a point here. Basically, order of the reaction is helping us to understand the effect on reaction rate or speed of reaction when concentration of reactants are changed. Yes or no? So basically it is giving us that thing. You see, here concentration of H plus was doubled, so the reaction rate becomes 4 times. Okay, second, I minus is halved, so it is B by 2. It was taken initially B by 2. So the new rate will be K into A into B by 2 into C square. So half of KB is KAB square. So half of the time. So reaction rate is halved. And concentration of all the 3 are tripled. So NO2 becomes 3A from A. I minus becomes 3B from B. And H plus becomes 3C from C. But 3C square, okay? So it becomes 81 times faster. It becomes 81 times faster. So as because this we knew the order or the power terms for the rate law, that's why we could predict that what is the change in the reaction speed. I hope that you have understood this sum. Okay, now let's see, shift to the next sum. The rate of a gaseous reaction is halved when the volume of the vessel is doubled. What is the order of the reaction? Ore bapre. The rate of a gaseous reaction is halved, okay, when the volume of the vessel is doubled. What is the order of the reaction? Means in a vessel, a reaction is going on. Okay, when the volume of the vessel was doubled, the reaction rate became halved. The speed of the reaction became half. Okay. Suppose the reaction is A to the A gives products. So rate of the reaction is K. A ka concentration to the power n. Suppose it is a nth order reaction, we don't know what order reaction is it. So rate of the reaction is K into A to the power n. When the volume of the vessel is doubled, molar concentration is halved. Obviously, this is an important point. When the volume of the vessel is doubled, molar concentration is halved, isn't it? Because what is molar concentration? What is the definition of molar? The definition of molar is number of moles per unit volume. Okay, so number of moles per unit volume. If the volume is doubled, the molar concentration is halved, no? Suppose n moles in volume V, the n moles in volume 2V. So it is half, no? Molar concentration half into n by V. Yes or no? So molar concentration is half. Okay. So I hope that you understand that. So if the molar concentration is half, so the it will be now new reaction rate will be reaction rate is so in the question they have mentioned when the volume of the vessel is doubled, that means the molar concentration is half, the order of the reaction rate is also half. So the reaction rate is half, R by 2 is equals to K into A by 2N, because already the molar concentration is half because the volume is doubled. So that I have explained here. Yes or no? Okay, now I hope that you understand that what we can say, that R by 2 is equals to K into A by 2 whole to the power n, because at first rate of the reaction is K into concentration of the A to the power n, order we don't know. So later on the reaction is halved. When the volume is doubled, that means the concentration is halved. So K into A to the power n. Now if you divide these two equations, so you will get, if you divide R by R by 2 is equals to K into A to the power n by K into A by 2 to the power n. K cancel. 2 to the power n will be there and 2 will be there, everything else will be cancelled. So 2 is equals to 2 to the power n, so n is equals to 1. So the reaction rate is 1. So it is a first order reaction. I hope that you understand. So first order reaction, in first order reaction I hope you have just now learnt that in first order reaction it depends on the concentration of the just power to the power 1, that is simply the concentration of the reactant. So definitely if it is depending on the concentration of the reactant, so concentration of the reactant is half, so the rate of the reaction is half. So this is a first order reaction. Now a next question. 2A plus B plus C gives A to B plus C. Rate is equals to K A B to the power 2 with K is equals to 2 into 10 to the power 6. Okay, so here now this question I will discuss later on, because it is a third order reaction and they have used the KK unit as the KK unit ke bare mein we did not talk, right? So directly they have given this sum. So I need to talk about KK unit first. Let's talk about KK unit. KK unit means, if you remember that I told you that KK unit finding out is not so easy because we didn't know alpha beta. Now we know about first order, second order, third order reaction. So I hope that now we can go and understand KK unit. Now we will basically understand the units of K. Units of K, that is rate constant. Okay, let us try to understand the unit of K, that is rate constant. After that we will go back to that sum. Okay, at first rate of, according to rate law, rate is equals to K into, suppose A to the power alpha, B to the power beta. In this way I explained, right? So it is actually, rate is equals to K into concentration of the substances into alpha plus beta, which gives the order of the reaction, right? So rate is equals to K into concentration to the power n, where n is order of reaction. So it will depend on the order of reaction. Now rate is actually what? Dx by dt. So that is equals to K into concentration to the power n. Okay. Now dx by dt is mole per liter. Dt is second inverse into K, that is mole per liter to the power n. So it is mole per liter by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter to the power n is equals to K. So K is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter to the power n minus 1. Isn't it? Is it or not? because I will make it simple for you. A by B, suppose this is A by B into 1 by a to the power n. So it is 1 by b into 1 by a to the power n minus 1. Same thing I have done here. So I hope that you understood this particular concept. Okay. So for zero order, k is equals to, zero order means what? Order is 0. So that means 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter 0 minus 1. Isn't it? So that means k is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter to the power minus 1. So it will go up, mole per liter per second. Wow. So the unit of rate constant is mole per liter per second. So it is just like the normal unit of the rate of the reaction, right? Again, for first order reaction, for first order, that is n is equals to 1. In this case, n is equals to 0. So our normal general expression is 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter n to the power n minus 1. So k is equals to 1 by second inverse, okay, into 1 by mole per liter 1 minus 1. So it gives 0. So k is equals to 1 by second inverse. This is to the power 0 gone 1. So k ka unit is second inverse. Only second inverse per unit time for first order reaction. Okay. Fine. For second order reaction, that is n is equals to 2, k is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter to the power n minus 1. So k is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter 2 minus 1. So k is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter to the power 1. Okay. So it will be k is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole to the power 1 and liter inverse to the power 1. So liter will go up. So k will be liter by second inverse mole inverse. So k ka unit is liter mole inverse second inverse. Very different unit, isn't it? So I hope that you understood this. For third order reaction, okay, for third order reaction, k is equals to, that is n is equals to 3, k is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole per liter to the power n minus 1, that is 3 minus 1. So K is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by mole square into liter to the power minus 2, because it will come 2, 3 minus 1 is equals to 2. So it will be K is equals to, ऊपर में liter square will be there, okay, it will be ऊपर में liter square, and if you take mole ऊपर में, so it will become mole to the power minus 2 per second inverse. So it will be K ka unit will be K liter square mole to the power minus 2 second to the power minus 1. So I hope that you understand this unit too. Okay, so this is a rate constant for third order reaction. Per liter square per liter square per mole square per second inverse. So this is a third order reaction, unit of third order reaction. So I hope that you understand. For reactions in which you measure pressure, for gaseous reactions, for gaseous reactions, when you measure pressure and not concentration, at that time it will be, always remember, K is equals to 1 by second inverse into 1 by atm to the power n minus 1, where n is the order of the reaction. So you should keep this in mind. In that way you can find out first order, second order, third order reaction when you measure in pressure. In case of pressure, what will be the unit. So I hope that you understand all these things. And by seeing the rate constant, now by seeing the unit of the rate constant, just I want to mention, if you see the unit of rate constant to be this, then it is a zero order reaction. If you see the reaction unit to be second inverse, then it is a first order reaction. If you see the unit to be like this, then it is a second order reaction. And if you see the unit to be this, it is a third order reaction. So I hope that you have understood the rate constant ka unit. Now let us go into that sum and let us try to understand that sum. Yeah. So 2a plus b plus c gives a to b plus c. Rate is a to the power 1b. So a 1 plus 2, that is a third order reaction with, so c, mole to the power minus 2 second inverse. So mole to the power minus 2 second inverse per liter square, they have forgot to write, I think. So this is a third order reaction. Anyway, so in that way the reaction rate ka unit is used. Calculate the initial rate of the reaction when concentration of A is this, concentration of B is this, and concentration of C is this, 0.1, 0.2 and 0.8. If the rate of the reverse reaction is negligible, then calculate the rate of the reaction after A is reduced to 0.06 molar. Okay, fine. Initial rate is this much. So A ka concentration is 2 into 10 to the power 6 they have written. Oh sorry, K ka value is 2 into 10 to the power 6, 2 into 10 to the power 6 they have written. A is 0.1, B is 0.2. So initial rate is this much. When A is reduced to 0.01 molar, 0.10 molar, sorry, when A is reduced from 0.10 molar to 0.06 molar, that is 0.4 molar of A is reacted, B reacted half into 0.4 molar is equals to 0.02 molar. Now how can they say that? How can they say this? From where did this come? stay with me, try to be patient and calm, don't panic. I will explain everything. Okay, let me explain the thing. So, didn't you learn this previously? That if 2A plus B plus C gives you A2B plus C, then rate of the reaction is minus of half of dA by dt is equals to dB by dt is equals to dC by dt. So that means whatever is the rate of disappearance of B, that is half of the rate of the disappearance of the A. Yes or no? According to this you have learnt, no? So that's why they have done half into 0.04 molar. That means if the reaction A, the concentration of A is reduced from 0.1 molar to 0.04 to 0.06 molar, so that means this much molar has disappeared. So the rate of the half into this much, so that is actually you have to do half into this, half into dA by dt, that is half of the amount is disappeared when the full amount of it is disappeared. Right or wrong? Because here is the one concentration, the coefficient is 1. So half, so that's why they have done half into 0.04 molar, so that is this much has disappeared. So hence nu B is from 0.2 to minus 0.02, how much has reacted? So new concentration is this. So your new concentration of A is this and new concentration of B is this, and multiplied with K. So done with the rate law, so new rate reaction rate. So I will again explain this sum so that you have no confusion. At first what they have done, they have given a reaction, they told the order, they told the rate law, experimental rate law, they have given the value of K, whose unit is third order unit, K that is rate law ka unit, rate constant ka unit. Calculate the initial rate of the reaction when A is 0.1 and B is 0.2. Easily, A is 0.1, B is 0.2, initial rate K into this much they have found, this is the initial rate. Now when they have asked if the rate of the reverse reaction is negligible, then calculate the rate of the reaction after A is reduced to 0.06 molar. So A is reduced to 0.06 molar means 1 minus 0.1 minus 0.06, which is 0.4 mole of A has reacted. So how much B has reacted? Because in the next time when you do the rate law ka equation, that is K into B square, so you need A ka concentration which is given, you need B ka concentration also you don't know. So how much amount of A has reacted, using that you can find out how much amount of B has reacted. Okay, by using this theory that I have just explained. So that you have done, and you have found out that 0.2 minus 0.02 gives 0.18 molar. So that is the new concentration of B. So at that time the rate is this. So I hope from this question one concept is so very clear. At any time of the reaction, if you can freeze the reaction and find out the concentration of the reactants, putting it in the rate law, you can at that point instantaneously find out the rate of the reaction at different points of time. And for that you don't have to plot the graph. You just have to know the rate law. Did you understand what I am saying? I will write down what I am saying. The rate law is actually helping us to know the rate of reaction at any point or time of reaction if the concentration of the reactants at that point is known. That's all. That's your very important thing that it is helping you to know. So I hope that you have understood the concept. Now let us do another question. Identify the order of the reaction from the rate constant. Liter, mole inverse, second inverse. Second inverse, mole, liter inverse, second inverse. So on the basis of the units and not the value. It is the second order reaction, liter mole inverse second inverse. Obviously, see, in case of second order reaction, what you got? This was the second order, right? So what you got? Liter mole inverse second inverse. So seeing the unit only, you can say it is second inverse. Second inverse, it is, I think second inverse is for first order reaction, right? So first order reaction. And in the third one, you get mole liter inverse second inverse. Why did you get mole liter inverse second inverse? Mole liter inverse second inverse one was in zero order reaction. So third one is zero order. So second order reaction, first order reaction, zero order reaction. By seeing the unit only, you can find out. So take a screenshot of these sums along with the answers, okay? And please do it. So let us try to understand one little thing. What is the difference between rate of reaction and reaction rate constant? Rate of reaction is the change of concentration of a reactant per unit time. Reaction rate constant is the constant of proportionality in the rate law equation and is equal to rate of reaction when the molar concentration of each of the reactant is 1 molar or unity. I have explained it. The rate of the reaction at any instant of time depends on the molar concentration of the reactants. Yes, according to the graph, the molar concentration of the reactant decreases, rate of the reaction decreases. The rate constant is a constant for a particular reaction at a particular temperature and does not depend upon the concentration. Obviously, it is a constant. It will not depend because 1 molar of the substance is reacting with 1 molar of the substance. When I defined rate constant, I have defined here taking as 1, right or wrong. So whatever is the power doesn't matter. So 1 molar of the substance react with another molar of the substance. So it is actually a constant quantity and it doesn't depend on any of the concentration terms or whatever it is. Okay, so it doesn't depend on alpha and beta or on order of the reaction. It just depends on what? It just depends on the nature of the reaction and the temperature. So why it depends on temperature? Because the molecular random motion will increase and more particles will react with each other. Its units are always this mole per liter per time. Its units depends on the order of the reaction. I hope that this video was helpful and you have been able to understand. So I could not touch the molecularity of the reaction and what we can say the mechanism of the reaction, which I'll try to touch in the next class and I'll try to explain that obviously. So till then, thank you.